Guys, I've got a huge surprise for you today. We've got the second best grappler in the whole world here. His name is Craig Jones.
Dad, you came back. Why did you leave me?
Have you ever wondered what happens to a failed athlete at the end of his career? One that's trying to hold on to that last bit of fame? He, of course, starts a travel show. As an Australian, not afraid of a bit of cultural appropriation and controversy, I've decided to go walkabout. I'm disappearing into the world on a vision quest to test the theory that through Jiu-Jitsu alone, I can penetrate any social class, ethnic group, religion, and hopefully gender too. Join me on this journey as I attempt to make amends for the damage I likely caused in these far-off destinations. Hey, I'm Craig Jones, and I'm pretty sure we're in Bali. Obviously, this is going to be an emotional experience, maybe even more emotional than you taking me down the other night.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say, man? I'm just a better wrestler. That's all there is to it.
You definitely were the better wrestler, Jeff. But tell me, where are we today?
So we're in Renegade. This is where we originally started to come in to start our school. So we came in here about 14 years ago. So when we originally came in, we started teaching in here. So
This is where you started teaching?
This is where we started teaching. Permisi ya, Pak. Pak. So they grow vegetables down the back, and then she'll sell them at the pasar, at the market. Ah, this is the one. Smell this. Yum.
Oh, wow.
How does that smell?
Very fresh.
You use it after you eat chicken. You use it to wash your hands.
Oh, that's what they do with it?
Yeah.
Tell me about where we are and how you ended up here.
Okay, so long story, but this is AK Gym, Akademi Kristus, in Sanur in Bali. So I left home at 14. My dad killed himself when I was 14. Moved out of home, drugs, alcohol. When I was 18, I travelled around Australia in a combi for 2 years. Ended up in Cairns, and then from Cairns I came over to Bali on a holiday. That was 23 years ago. Haven't really been back. I started off in Java, working as a teacher. So after working at that school for about 8 years, I realized that life wasn't just about making money and buying a house and doing all the things that most regular people do. So my wife and I made the choice to sell our house and sell everything we owned and move over to Bali. So we came over to Bali 13 years ago, and we started going into what we call the kampung, which is a slum, for want of a better term, where we were today. And we started teaching the kids in there just on a tarp, teaching them English, teaching them art and craft, just hanging out with them. And then slowly, bit by bit, we've grown. It took us 4 months before we got some paving down and we got electricity. It was 2 years before we got toilets. So the kids would run back to our house, which is just down the back there. And then 2 years ago, we started a second campus. So it's always been about community. It was 100% the Jiu-Jitsu community that started things off. I mean, if you look behind us here, we've got 90 gis. Every one of those gis was donated.
Yeah, well, that was what was so incredible is when we wanted to help you, you didn't just ask for money, you said what we need is computers to help these kids become more self-sufficient and have careers.
Money doesn't solve problems. Like, you can throw money at any problem, it just doesn't fix it. You have to provide opportunities, education, skill development, employment that can help them to help themselves. Yeah, so we started here, and then, you know, Irma, we had our third kid, and we had to stop coming here. And a friend of ours from Red Frog, his name's Woon, he's a top guy. He went back and told his jiu-jitsu coach, Jamie, at Renegade, that, you know, we needed a place, basically. He ran the grappleathon, and he taught jiu-jitsu non-stop for 33.5 hours. They raised, all clubs from Melbourne came together, and the goal was to raise $10,000 to start up AK in Bali. They raised $10,014. And the transfer fees, the bank fees, $14. So that got us started at our gym, and we've been there for 8 years now.
That's what helped take you from under the tree to the physical.
Exactly, the jiu-jitsu community, man. Like, and every gi that we've got at AK, you'll see later, they're all donated. Hello, 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 si kecil. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. Got a wrestler's grip.
Strong grip.
Berapa minggu sekarang?
Udah 2 bulan.
2 months old.
2 months old. Beautiful. Oh, really? Very cute.
Bye, guys.
See you guys. Thank you.
How long have you been training for total?
14 years total. But for me, like, I still feel like a white belt. Nothing comes naturally to me in jiu-jitsu when it comes to, like, when I was younger and fitter, yeah, sure, go out and try and crush people. I had some bad injuries, and then I came back to jiu-jitsu just to teach. What teaches you perseverance better than jiu-jitsu? You've got someone on top of you trying to smother you and choke you. You've got to find a way out. And maybe you tap, you give up, you do it again. And eventually you learn that you can get out of any situation. If you just keep a clear mind, focus, work hard, you'll find a way out. So I think for all these kids, jiu-jitsu is an incredible tool. It gives them confidence, it gives them discipline, it teaches them that they can persevere, and it translates directly to life in so many ways. Guys, what's the first rule of jiu-jitsu? Lilu.
Don't do jiu-jitsu, you're not supposed to do it.
Good. How do you get somebody to stop? Billy.
Tap.
Where's the best place to tap? Farida.
Tap on the other person.
These guys are going wild.
Yeah. The fighting chickens are the ones. You get the fighting cocks, and they look after them really well.
Oh, really?
And they go for it.
They have some here?
National sport. Yeah. Sini ada ayam yang itu bertarung.
Ada itu di
Mana?
dalam.
Mana? Bisa lihat?
Bisa boleh.
Check them out. These are the fighting cocks. So they'll get them together and they'll practice them. And then when they fight, they put little blades on their legs.
Really?
They get them really ready because then when they fight, of course,
To the death.
so they want to make sure they're ready. And she said there's a few around here as well.
Oh, really?
Well, I mean, that's what inspired me to sort of do this series, is because through jiu-jitsu, I've been able to travel the world and really take a lot, especially a lot from local communities, people paying to learn jiu-jitsu from me. So part of this series is really to find people in local communities of these countries I get to visit. But obviously we find people like you to be able to help through this series.
Appreciate it, mate.
What possessed you to want to go down this path where your goal wasn't just to make money, but your purpose is really to help people?
Quite honestly, it was God. So, you know, I was an atheist growing up in Australia, doing drugs, thought it was, you know, an absolute joke. And I encountered God. And so I reevaluated my whole life. But also, like, we've got a friend who came over once and he said, what you guys do is so selfless. But I think it's the opposite. I think it's selfish. I think all people are created to serve others, to have a purpose. So the position we have in this community and the the purpose that we have for our lives, you can't buy that. You could have all the money in the world, but you can't buy, relationships and the respect of other people. You have to earn that. And because when we started doing this, we had no money, nothing. We basically, just did it off our own backs. We had no choice but to just go in there very humbly, spend time with the kids, teach them on a tarp under a tree for years. If we had a lot of money in the beginning, we would have built a big fancy facility, would have been a completely different vibe.
The religion is like extremely complex. They have days where they have to give offerings to everything made of metal. They have days where they give everything like to do with schooling and education. They have days when they have to do it like different days for different things. So they have a special calendar. There's a Balinese calendar which is just for offerings.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Tadi ada hari untuk sumbang yang dari besi, ada yang dari pendidikan, ada yang ini.
I'm from present ceremony in Saraswati. In lagi 1 minggu nih.
Today we met Duffer, and you were telling me how he was bullied very badly and he had to drop out of basically high school, right? Could you tell me a bit more about Duffer's story?
So Duffer's one of our original students from 14 years ago. He works as a Gojek driver, so basically delivering stuff on motorbikes. And his goal is to get a car so he can, step up a little bit in earnings. But we've got quite a big vision for him in the future.
How many foreigners do you think actually get an insight into that world, or even local Indonesians?
Very, very few. So most people who come to Bali know Kuta Beach, they know Canggu, they know the party scene, they know the surf scene, they know Ubud. Very, very few people realise that there are these communities on the outskirts. And in reality, they're not really that hidden. The thing I find is, we went in today to visit all these people. They're offering us a drink, they're offering us, stuff that they've been picking from their garden. They're so hospitable, and yet they have so little. So even though these people are, for want of a better word, quite poor, they have amazing perseverance, amazing personalities. All they need is an opportunity. And that's where the problem is. It's hard to get an opportunity when you're right at the bottom.
This is all asbestos.
Oh, really?
Yes. It's cheap.
This is where Duffer lives?
This is Duffer's house. Bapak nanam apa aja, Pak?
Cabai.
Chilies.
Nanti maunya ini gini kembang nanti.
He's gonna plant stuff over there
Maunya
as well.
kembang.
You know the peanuts here?
He sells them to the markets?
Dijual atau makan sendiri? Jual ya?
Kalau kembang itu dijual.
Yep, sells them. Pak Sucondro.
Condro.
Craig.
Pak Craig namanya.
Great. Tarung. Kalau saya sehat mau adu ya.
He said if he was healthy, he'd take you on.
Oh, yeah.
Iya.
I have 2 challenges.
Jadi harus lawan dua-duanya ya?
Iya.
Bapak sama anaknya?
Kalau saya kungfu.
He used to do kung fu in the
Oh,
army,
really?
but he can't do it anymore. Hit by the tree, hit him right on the back of the neck, and that was it. He's basically. Tapi bapak masih berusaha kan?
Berusaha. Yang penting mau gini apa, belum minta mati dulu. Ya, makanya usaha untuk pakai kerja apa.
Yeah, whatever work he can do, he does. So he does this.
Can you talk a bit about how Jiu-Jitsu creates a community? Because say for me, like we filmed in this location because I showed up to Bali MMA and met such a bunch of interesting characters, and I feel like that's the story wherever I've traveled with Jiu-Jitsu, and you're obviously using Jiu-Jitsu to help the local communities.
As I said, it was the Jiu-Jitsu community that got us started. We've got sponsors that have, from day one, given $1 a day, $5 a day. They've sewn into it. It all started from Jiu-Jitsu people. If you train Jiu-Jitsu, anywhere you go in the world, You walk into a club and you've got family. You know, Jiu-Jitsu is unique. I've boxed, I've done taekwondo, I've done other martial arts. They're all great, but there's something about Jiu-Jitsu. When you find someone else who grapples, you've got family. And again, this is not me, it's a whole community of people. My wife, my kids, the Jiu-Jitsu community. It's a whole community of people that have made this happen where it is now. And now you're one of them.
Now I'm one of them. Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Jeff.
My hand's not.
Hey, brother.
What's going on, mate?
My good.
What are we eating today?
Bro, you're not eating. You said you'd never cooked anything, so time to learn, my friend.
Typical Australian rescuing a British man in need.
Pies, that's it. Pies, that's it.
I wanted to get you to talk about kind of like the diverse community of people that do jiu-jitsu, because that's part of the reason I started this project, is to showcase. I obviously showed up at Bali MMA. I met you. I met Mitch through Bali MMA. Was able to meet Jeff. So
Well, it's just like, it's the same with cooking. It brings people together from completely different worlds. Do you know what I mean?
do you think there would be similarities between the jiu-jitsu culture and the chef culture?
I've met the most incredible people, traveled the world pretty much for free. Every country I've worked in, I've learned the culture. It's not like I've been there as a tourist. So yeah, it's a hard world, but very, very rewarding.
My world, if I have a bad customer, I can choke them.
So now while that's cooking, we're gonna get these beautiful prawns over the coals and just keep them cooking nicely while this sauce happens. Right, I need a bit more. You got the action? You reckon you ever go with the action?
I will. I'm always keen for some action.
Back to front.
Back to front.
Back to front, come on. That's it, good.
I heard a crazy story about how you were signed up to have a fight. Basically, no experience at the time, but you signed up to fight.
So I was 107 kilos, very, very unhealthy, smoking, drinking. I slipped my discs. I ruptured my discs. The doctor said, man, you need to lose some weight. And then Bali MMA decided to do their first Canggu fight night. They asked me, would you like to do a boxing fight? And I'm like, what are you, mad? I've had like 3 lessons. I've never had a fight in my life, really.
But you got on the drinks and agreed to take a
So then I went out that night, got obliterated for some reason, I don't know why. And Mr. Big Balls here thought, I can do this. Sent a message to the boys at like 4:30 a.m. Yes, I'm up for it. Woke up with a stinking hangover and then looked at my phone. Oh, that's awesome, let's start training. And I'm like, what's going on? And I'd signed up for the Canggu fight night.
Look, talk more about Balinese culture. Like, you've been here, obviously you love it here.
It's just the people, man. It's just an amazing lifestyle. We work hard, we play hard, we train hard. But it's just a beautiful environment to live and, you know, spend your life. So yeah, it's just an amazing place to be. Okay, the sauce is looking good. You want to give a taste?
Oh, yes.
Taste test.
Yeah, fucking beautiful.
Good?
Definitely tastes like I cut those vegetables there.
Yeah. Okay. So there we have it. Prawns on the barbie with the wonderful Mr. Craig Jones.
Not the first time I've been cooked with you on Mandatour.
Cut. That's epic.
I'm here with Sasha, Bali's ultimate fixer. I was going to get into how we met, but on second thought, I think we'll leave that for another time. I want you to tell me what a fixer is and what your job entails.
Yeah, it's basically do whatever people ask you to do. First, pretend that you can do anything. Second, try to find a solution for the problem. So yeah, basically try to know everyone around, try to organize everything. It can start from the catering for 10 people until the insane parties for a few days, or yachts or helicopters. Yeah, everything you need.
Pretend to know what you're doing to reassure the client. That's very reassuring for myself, come to think of it.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know, I've heard once from a really famous person that if you start to develop yourself or your business, it's obvious that you didn't do anything before. So when someone is asking you in the first place, can you do this? You always have to answer yes and then just try to solve it. That's it.
And again, you do any type of wild activity in Bali, lots of crazy stuff happens. You were saying yachts, villa parties. I would not personally know anything about villa parties myself, but those are the type of crazy activities you can put together.
For me, the craziest thing when people ask to organize a huge event, not for themselves to enjoy it, but to show off.
That is pretty common in Bali though. Since I've been here, I've really come to realize how many influences are around Bali, which is funny because it's such a traditional place.
I would say half of the island belongs to this sphere of influencing on something, you know? All these esoteric guys or influencers, I think even thousands of them, you know? And everyone is trying to show that they don't work, they live their easiest life, and they do everything for other people to know about it, that they don't put a lot of effort to live the way they do. Yeah, and that's what we help to do as well.
I don't think that would be a problem for me. It feels to me like what you're saying is, for me to really get in touch with modern Bali culture, I need to turn myself the ultimate influencer party.
But you know, be ready for a Cinderella story. Probably in the end of the night you would realize that half of this is not true.
Bali, a lot like the beautiful Eastern European women that inhabit it, is an exotic fantasy, a visually beautiful, oftentimes chaotic, and surprisingly expensive escape from reality. I utilized my Jiu-Jitsu connections to leverage every experience I could out of this island. From fashion, to parties, to restaurants, and I'd be lying if I said I didn't enjoy every minute of it. However, what goes up must inevitably come crashing down, usually at 4 a.m., usually alone. The expats, influencers, and young entrepreneurs that have chosen this idyllic tropical paradise are as much seeking something new as they are running from something or someone. Be that an ordinary life, an ex, the Russian invasion, or even something as simple as high taxes. Jeff represented the opposite of many foreigners on this island, here to help the locals, not exploit them. He reminded me of a reality lost on the social media gurus that reside here. You can't buy relationships or respect. To be a part of a community, you must contribute to that community. So we took a page out of Jeff's book this Christmas. We decided to follow in his footsteps, and we gave back to his community.
Seth, as an American and a Texan, you are notorious for taking things very seriously. Some might say even very seriously in terms of emotions. Can you talk to me about how special Christmas is to you?
Yeah, I think Christmas is a very special time of year. I think it's a reminder for everyone to focus on giving back, not just receiving gifts. So yeah, I take it serious. I think it's a special time of year where, you know, you get together with your family and your loved ones and the unfortunate, and you're able to give something back and lift somebody up that maybe not have as much as you. And so yeah, I think it's a good time of year for sure, and an emotional time of year, I would say.